Hi, I'm Shelley Wood and this is my tiny sewing room where I make doll clothes sewing videos. Today I'm going to show you how to make a saucy little hat. Reminiscent of the 1920s, and it should fit your Monster High, Ever After High, and other dolls with a head circumference of 6 1/4 inches or 15.8 centimeters. Before we begin, please go to shelleywood.com to download this free printable PDF sewing pattern and use the pattern to cut out all the pieces shown here. Ribbon can also be added as an embellishment. Place the small top piece against the crown, keeping right sides together. Attach the crown to the top using a backstitch. From one end of the crown all the way around the top to the other end of the crown. If you need help with a backstitch, there's a link to my backstitch tutorial in the description below this video on YouTube. It's a good idea to leave a small gap at each end of the crown so you can join the ends of the crown when you get done sewing it. That way you can stitch those crown ends together. Okay, so I'm going to show you what I mean by this. So here's my final stitch, and you'll notice that the crown has a little bit of extra fabric at the end. You want a little bit of extra on both sides. Then you can stitch along this crown, joining the two ends together. Here I've finished joining the two ends together, and you can see inside to the right side of that crown and top piece. Take the larger of the two tops and lay it right side to wrong side and stitch it to the smaller top, going around 3/4 of the way. Okay, so this is what I mean by right side to wrong side. It feels kind of incorrect, but it is right. And you begin stitching it all along where the crown joins the top piece. And again, I'll be using a backstitch to do that. I kind of sped it up so you don't have to watch that all the way around. When you reach that 3/4 of the way point, you're going to invert it and fold the raw edge of the top under. So you can see me doing that here. I'm inverting it. So now in my fingers you'll see the crown right there. Okay, so now I have two sides to the top, an inside and an outside, and I'm going to fold that under. Whip stitch along the folded under raw edge. So here I am folding it under. And you're just trying to make it look clean on the inside of the hat so it doesn't have so many raw edges of fabric. And then we're going to whip stitch all along this as we fold it under. So you just keep folding it under and whip stitching. If you need help with the whip stitch, I have a tutorial for that as well. Look in the description below this video on YouTube. Now we're ready to invert the cap. Place the brim, at least brim one anyway, over the crown with right sides together and back stitch along the raw edge. Now you're going to sew all the way around the hat, but just like we did with the crown, you're going to leave a bit of brim unsewn so you can join these two ends later on. Okay, so here's what we have so far. I like to show you the here's what we have every now and then so you can make sure you did it right. Next, you're going to set brim number 2 over the top of brim number 1, again keeping right sides together like you see me doing here. Okay, so this is what we have so far, and I'm going to flip it right side out, and then right side to right side I'm going to attach the brim right there, that's brim number 2, to brim number 1, Attach the two brims to each other with a backstitch. And here's how it looks when you're done. Clip that recently sewn seam, like you see me doing here. Connect the edges of both brims. Okay, so we have it looking kind of funky. We're going to turn it all the way inside out. We're going to join the two brim edges, just like this, and we're going to sew them together. Okay, so you sew these two brim edges together, invert the cap, then flip the brim up and tuck the raw edge under, like you see me doing in this next clip. Okay, so we invert the whole thing, and then it should look like this. Now we're going to tuck that one in. It's really starting to look like a hat now. We're going to flip it inside out, and then we start tucking brim number 2 under. I'm going to tuck that under. Hem along this tucked in edge using again a whip stitch. When you're done sewing this whip stitch all the way around, turn it right side out like you see me doing here. Okay, so this is what we have now. We turn it right side out. It's so cute. I was so pleased with this design when I was done with it. Press the bottom of the brim. It's optional, but you can now add some ribbon. I'm using 1/8 inch lavender ribbon. Just stitch it in place at the center back and then wrap it around, trim it, and stitch that other end of the ribbon. And now you're ready to try it on a doll, and I folded mine a little so it got that sort of saucy look. For more free printable sewing patterns for making doll clothes to fit dolls of many shapes and all different sizes, please remember to visit my website, shelleywood.com. Hi, I'm Shelley Wood, and this is my tiny sewing room where I make doll clothes sewing videos. You guys have inspired a lot of the doll clothes that I have designed, the free patterns that are available at shelleywood.com. But my list of requests is becoming huge. So it's time for me to offer a course where I teach you the 3 easy methods that I use to design doll clothes patterns. If you're curious about my class, I recommend that you go to creativespark.ctpub.com, where you can sign up for their newsletter. That's the platform I'll be using for my paid courses. If you enjoy my free tutorials, wait till you see what I'm creating for Creative Spark. I look forward to creating amazing patterns with you.